How's it going, everyone? I just want to share some thoughts with everyone. I found the missing part of the engine, the clip. It was stashed between the cooling fins of the cylinder head, and the funny thing is, I took several pictures of that cylinder head. I took it out of the box several times. I even sent the company that I got the kit from. I even sent them a picture of that cylinder head with that with those clips in the fins, and the guy on the receiving end, he never noticed them. Neither did I. Uh, it was only when I was taking the fins out. It was only when I was like, so at the end of the day, I decided, I came to a conclusion. I came to an agreement with the man that with the company that he's gonna take it back. So on the last day before I was supposed to give it back, I took out the cylinder head. I took it out of the box, and I'm like, okay, let me try to draw this cylinder head on SolidWorks. So I'm sitting there on my desk. I'm looking around the cylinder head, to trying to figure out what kind of dimensions, what kind of ratios of the dimensions and whatever. And I look there, and I look at it, and I'm like, what's this? And there's between the cylinder fins, the cooling fins, there's a small clear bag. It's like this big. And I open it, and I see, and the clips are there. This is the bag. It was like this. It was folded down like this, and it was stashed between the fins like that. And it's funny how many times I took out that cylinder head. I moved it. I looked around at it, and I even looked at the openings, the holes where the studs go through, which is right next to where I found that plastic bag, and I never saw it. It's so strange. I don't know. Anyhow, I spent the last weekend, Saturday at like 2 o'clock. I went out the backyard. I started putting everything together, and I worked till like 7, maybe like 5 hours, and then I was done. And then Sunday morning, I went to the hospital, and then I went around shopping for some tools that I was missing. I was missing a chain breaker, and I couldn't find it. Luckily, I came back home at like 4, and I was checking online, and I found that Princess Auto stocked something similar to it. So I hopped on the bus, and I got there like 50 minutes before they closed, because it was Sunday. They closed at 5, and I got that chain breaker. It's like real nice, sturdy chain breaker, and I kept on working on that thing till Sunday, maybe 11 o'clock, because I remember I was in the backyard, and it was actually really dark, and I was using a flashlight on my phone, and I was getting stung by all these mosquitoes. It was crazy. And then a friend of mine called me, who was driving a bus right next to where I live. He's like, I'm doing this route on Sunday, why don't you hop by? And I could tell he was like in a bad mood, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go see him. uh, I did try to start it on Sunday, but I kept losing the chain. uh, so Monday I gave it another try. I tightened up the chain, I checked the alignment, uh, and I gave it a try, and it started, and it ran pretty nice. It wasn't bad. Yesterday night I took it out for a spin at 11, like 11:30. I'm just trying to break the motor in and drive it the way and ride it the way they ride it, with power bursts for like 20 seconds, and then slow it down, and then another power burst, and just cycling that. And this is the first time I've ever come across a two-stroke engine, I would say. And it's fun. They're nice, fun little engines. I mean, when you're using them, they're like, so they have this certain sweet, like an RPM range, like when a turbo engine comes on boost. So they have something similar to that. They have a nice range Where before that, it's like they're misfiring, misfiring, and then once they hit that RPM range, which I don't know because I don't have a tachometer, so I wouldn't know how fast it's going. But it has this range where you feel like the power is just continuous, and it just goes. And I guess that's when, I guess it's that RPM range where, you get the maximum. Uh, I think it was called scavenging, and I remember we had this term that I was taught at university. It was called the trapping ratio. So you get the most scavenging, the most trap. So basically, as far as I remember, I don't know, I could be wrong. Scavenging was how much. Uh, Scavenging is basically a measure of how clean the combustion chamber is of all the exhaust gases after they, during the exhaust stroke, like how clean can you get the exhaust gas, that how clean you can get the combustion chamber, how how efficient you can rid it of all the exhaust gases. So that's how. And then there was this other term, it was called the trapping ratio. So the trapping ratio was how much of the fresh charge can you keep in the combustion chambers and not have them just short circuit out into the exhaust. So I guess it's that sweet RPM range that everything is just optimum. It's scavenged. It scavenges the highest efficiency. It's trapping at the highest efficiency, and it just feels nice. So you're like, you open throttle and you wait. It's stuttering, and then it goes and it kind of takes off. Of course, it doesn't really take off, but you feel like it's like, oh, it's coming alive. Uh, sometimes I wish it had a gearbox, like a second, like it's just a clutch to engage and disengage. But at some points, I wish it had I wish I could start and going for a lever and shifting, because you do run out of you kind of max out the engine, uh, and you're always wishing for some more speed. But for someone who's just using it just to go around shopping or whatever, just to relax and enjoy a nice breeze, it's really good. And I think it'd be really good. Something that would be really good for the guys that do Uber Eats, because they can drastically increase the number of deliveries that they can make. Because basically you just pedal for 30 meters or whatever, and then you just let go of the clutch and it just fires up and you're off. All in all, it was a fun experience. It's fun to ride. I really enjoy riding it. Uh, and what's really fun when I'm just cruising around the block where I live, around the houses, and then just the minute I ride by and you see all the kids, and they're like, "What's this?" You can see they got that look on their faces, wondering what's this? It looks like a bicycle, but it doesn't. There's no pedaling. There's nothing. All in all, it was a fun experience. I just posted some pictures of it on the group on Facebook. Uh, it was fun. It was fun. I can imagine people who play around with these engines, uh, clean up the ports, maybe open up the ports a bit. I guess these engines, once they come on, once they hit that sweet spot, it'd be really nice. Really fun. They're fun. It's fun. The fact that you feel that, you have that uh, power band. It's fun. It might not be the best in terms of drivability, but it's fun. For such a small engine, for just an experience, it's fun. Anyhow, guys, I just wanted to share that adventure that I've been having for these past 2-3 days, and I guess I'll try to post a video of just riding it or whatever. And I guess from here on, it's just looking for a next project or challenge to tackle with something with engines and whatever. Anyhow, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.